Hi guys, Dave from Firearms-UK here, and this video is going to be based on a news article that was sent in to us from one of our supporters. I think it was actually sent in on our community page. If you haven't visited it, by the way, please do check it out. But basically, this is an article that seeks to sensationalise the number of firearms, legally owned firearms that are in a particular area. You do get articles like this from time to time. They crop up much like the articles about how young people can legally take part in a legal sport. You know, it's slow news days. But I believe it was in the Hunt's Post, I think it was called, a sort of local newspaper, reported that there were just over 10,000 firearms in Cambridgeshire, up from just over 7,000 in 2009, which represents 1,199 per 100,000 people. There's just over 3,000 firearm certificates on issue, and just under 30,000 shotgun certificates on issue in Cambridgeshire, according to this article. And by the way, just 5 certificates have been revoked, apparently, also according to that article, I believe. Of course, ever the opportunist, the gun control network managed to get a little comment in, the usual sort of scaremongering, saying that gun laws should be strict just because of the sake of it, you know, and trying to, as usual, just to me, trying to relate legal firearms to legal firearms. And of course there's a cracking statement where a representative of the GCN stated that the shooting lobby has said gun crime is just a matter of illegal weapons, and then they've went on to say, but it's not true to say gun deaths are related to illegal weapons only. Now, you see what they've done there? Illegal firearms gun crime is what the shooting lobby talks about, but they said gun deaths aren't strictly related to illegal firearms. Well, you know, yeah, that's true, but it's disingenuous, because, you know, if someone's tragically decides to kill themselves, yeah, it's a gun death, but if they didn't have the firearm, they might still kill themselves in another way. So again, they exploit things and mislead you to follow their agenda. But as always, I thought, well, why not try and get some real facts out there? So I've done a little bit of research, and I thought, well, what is the relationship between legal guns, legal gun owners, firearm certificates, etc., and gun crime, and the number of offences? And I wasn't really surprised with what I found out, but I've tried putting it into a few graphs. So basically, I've used 2 sources. One source was a lot of official figures for England and Wales only, and it was basically the 3 highest, 3 police forces with the highest number of certificates on issue versus the 3 lowest. And the one source gave me one set of forces, and another source I used was an article in The Guardian, which gave me a couple of different police forces. The figures are all pertaining roughly from, I think, 2016. So the Guardian article, I think, might be 2015, 2016. The official figures I got were for 2016, 2017. So anyway, guys, I've put them in a nice little graph for you, and I'll just put them on the screen now, and I'll talk through them. And yeah, no surprise what we see, but you won't hear the gun control organisations stating these things, because it kind of doesn't really support their argument and their agendas. And just before I go to the graph, one final thing, I think it's interesting that the gun control representatives always state how they can't understand why the number of certificates are going up, simply because despite you killjoys doing everything you can to ruin perfectly legal sports and infringing on people's rights and liberties to go about their business, people enjoy it that much, and it's that good fun that they find a way and they keep going to get into it. And it's just a shame this organisation doesn't really direct its efforts in combating the real root causes of violence, which, in doing my research, I think it was in an article from the London Assembly, that the police generally credit gun crime and gun violence to be related to drug and gang warfare and gang issues, something we all know, but all the gun control organisations don't seem to want to tackle. So anyway, guys, here's the graphs. I'll talk you through them and see what you make of them. Cheers. Okay guys, so if we look at the first graph, you'll see that's comparing the number of legal firearms per 100,000 people against firearms offences per 100,000 people in the respective police areas listed below. Now these police areas, I've taken the 3 areas with the highest number of legal firearms per 100,000, and I've taken the 3 areas with the lowest number of legal firearms per 100,000, and I've compared them against the number of firearms offences per 100,000 people, just to try and see if there's any kind of correlation or link between greater legal gun ownership and increased firearms offences. And what I found was no surprise, as I said. If you look at the bottom right of the graph, you'll see 3 dots representing North Yorkshire, Cumbria, and I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but Dafydd Powys. And as you can see, there's between, say, about 1,500 and 2,700 firearms per 100,000 people, depending on the area. Yet they've got very low, almost non-existent levels of firearms offences. Now, if you compare this to the dots on the left-hand side of the graph, especially those at the top left, you have dots representing the Metropolitan Police area and West Midlands. And you can see that despite having between, say, 5 and 6 times less, perhaps even 10 times less legal firearms per 100,000 people, they've got about 4, 5, 6 times as much firearms offences. So right away, this data quashes any notion that there's any correlation between legal firearms ownership and firearms offences. At the bottom left is a green dot representing the City of London. That's a bit of a wild card. It's got, I think, like 3 certificates issued there. Very small area, very wealthy area, so it doesn't have the socio-economic problems that are the root causes of crime and violence, especially gun crime, that the Metropolitan and West Midlands area has. And again, any offences committed by legal gun owners, rare as they are, tend to be often minor offences, like paperwork offences, simply brought about by our often complicated, convoluted bureaucracy of firearms law and regulation. When generally there's no harm or intent to harm or cause any loss or anything like that. It's simply a paperwork offence. The real violent crime is committed with illegal firearms, and again, just as I say, the graph totally disproves any notion that it's anything to do with us. Now, looking at the next graph, this is the number of firearms certificates versus firearms crimes in the given police areas. Now, I used the Guardian article for this. The previous data was obtained from official government figures, and that was for the years 2016-17. This information, I suspect, from around 2015-16, and because it's comparing the number of firearms certificates, not the ratio of firearms per 100,000, we've got a few police forces that are different in here. Now, if you look again, the 3 police forces with the highest number of firearms certificates issued, which is Devon and Cornwall, Sussex and North Yorkshire, again, they've got very low rates of firearms offences or firearms crimes. Now compare that with Merseyside, which has 195 offences, yet less than 1,000 firearms certificates issued. It shows, there's no link between legal gun owners and crime. Now looking at Cleveland, it's got about 5 times less firearms certificates issued than North Yorkshire. Yeah, it's only got 5 less offences. Again, we're not the problem, and these gun control organisations and the politicians that constantly bring in laws and promote more laws to attack us are being incredibly disingenuous. They're being incredibly misleading if they're trying to fool people into thinking that targeting us makes you any safer from crime. If anything, it will make you less safe, because valuable time and resources are being wasted on the wrong people when they should be tackling the root causes of crime and violence, which, as I mentioned earlier, is socio-economic problems such as drug warfare, gang warfare, things like that. But that's a lot harder to fix than pretending to do something by attacking us. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was informative. By all means, please challenge my figures, let's have a debate about it, but show it to friends, share it, show it to family, people that are anti-gun, share it everywhere. Let's just try and get people talking about this, because as I say, if anything, these graphs would say there's a correlation between more gun ownership and less crime. And I'm not going to say that's a causative effect, but we certainly don't lead to increases in crime. So that's it again, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all soon. Cheers.